Before we jump into a bit of colouring today, just a bit of stash shop information for you. I have restocked the Polychromos pencils, so if you're looking to pad out your collection or maybe you just need a couple of replacement pencils, those are up at a fairly competitive price for you to grab a hold of. The other thing that we've got as well is the reintroduction of these bad boys. These are the Spectrum Noir metallic twin tip markers that I really enjoyed that came in the upgrade. This was the set here that we got in the upgrade, these colours here. So it's 6 pens and this is the rare mineral set with very nice tips on them. When I went to order these, there was very low stock at the wholesalers, so I do not have as many sets of these in stock as I would like. If you've been holding out for these, I would go and grab them now in the stash shop because they're not going to last long. In addition to the rare mineral set, which was the one that came in the upgrade, I do have antique elements, which are these colours here, and the precious metal set as well, which is more like gold colours. So if that is up your alley, head on over to the stash shop and snaffle those really quickly before they disappear. Hopefully I will be able to continue to stock these, but it will be after the move, so it's going to be well into July before we see these again, and I can't make any guarantees that they will be available. Hi everyone and welcome back to the Colour Cave, where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem and here we are back in Colin Thompson's colouring book, and we are trying to get to a finishing point on these double doors with our Inktense pencils. I don't think we're going to get through everything today, but we're going to get a huge chunk done. I was really enjoying reading all your comments about buying the 28 extra Inktense pencils. It seems a lot of you have got full set syndrome. Of course that is not at all enabled by me, obviously, but that gave me a really good chuckle. For those of you that would really like this book, another conversation that was going on in the comments under the last video was about where to source this book, and the German print version is still available, and it was actually Thea who posted some information on that. That is the pinned comment under the last part, so if you are still looking to get a copy of this absolutely fabulous book, check out the last video and just go down into the comments. It says pinned right at the top so you can't miss it, to see if you can get a hold of a copy for yourself. Okay, I'm going to go for this shuttered door here, and it's going to be red, like red as in pillar box type red. Got my little book here. Right, okay. So yeah, I'm going to grab the poppy red, and of course I can't find it. Now I think here we'll have a little bit of colour in here first. A little bit of all over colour. Not being very careful at all. And then a big water brush, so blue water brush. Again, no change in my supplies. I'm going to use the flat ended one here, so it's kind of like square tip on the end. So we should get some nice even lines here. Oh, it's good for the slatted area there. Okay, so we'll leave that to dry now. We'll really intensify some colours there in just a minute. This little door up here, maybe we should, I think I want this one to have a wooden feel up here. So I'm going to grab Sicilian yellow and also mustard. So I feel like the internal panels are going to be mustard. Maybe this door's seen, you know, it's been through the wars a little bit. So yeah, this is our penultimate video, and then I'm going to take the Sicilian yellow and do the frame with that. I'm going to try and keep the pencil work even here. So, you know, I was quite haphazard down here because we're going back over it. I am going to try and keep this a little bit more even, because there's some really nice texture that's been drawn in behind here. So I'd like to keep that. I don't want to really obliterate it with the colour. Yeah, so this is going to be our penultimate video. We'll get this finished up next time, so whichever doors that we don't get done today, and then all the knobs and knockers and all the things we've talked about before, and we'll get that all tied up and we can get started on Kirby Rosanna's, which will be our final project before moving. And I know, I was having a think about it. Obviously now most of you will have seen the update video from Sunday, and that was quite a revelation, I'm sure, for some of you. Having sort of worked out timescales, I know it might seem tight to get the Kirby Rosanna's one finished before the move. But the thing with that particular double page, that was the one with the penguins in that we looked at, and there's quite a lot of elements in that are repetitive, so that will be something that I will be finishing in my spare time. So if we do one penguin, I'll show you the technique and maybe do one or two, and then I can finish off the rest of them, in between times. Because remember as well, as we go along, I am going to be packing the cave up, so there's only going to be a couple of things on the go at any given time, because I'm obviously trying to wrap things up for the move. I hope you're all as excited as I am about the move. I am very excited. There are questions to be answered, and I appreciate for those of you who did leave comments under that Sunday video, under the update video. I'm going to save my responses to that for the live stream. And we can talk a little bit more about that then. This is still a wee bitty damp, so I'm now going to leave both of these doors. This one down here, I feel like it should be blue as well, but not this kind of blue, and not this, like somewhere in between the two of these. So let me see. Maybe denim might be the right colour. That's one of the newer pencils, one of the new 28. I still haven't put these in a sensible order. I'm kind of putting it off until I'm going to pack them away. Because once we've finished this page here, I am going to pack away the Derwent pencils. Mineral blue. Oh God, every blue apart from denim. Where are you? Finally, found it. So once we're finished this, that's the plan for the this big pencil case that I've got. The one that looks as if it's got ice cream on it. That is going to be packed away in a box along with some other supplies that I don't use quite so often. There are other pencils in this pencil case. I do have the Graphy tints and a small selection of the Colour Soft pencils, and I've also got the 72 set of the artist grade Derwent pencils as well. I don't have any commissions that I'm going to need the artist grade pencils for. I tend to use them for commissions and for detail work because they're quite a hard pencil, and I'm kind of like wrapping all that up just now as well. Not that I do many commissions, but I have had a couple of things that I've been working on, so I kind of, as soon as this is finished, I can safely retire this pencil case into the bottom of one of my biggest boxes because it's a big pencil case, and that will start the ball rolling at getting the cave packed up. So it's going to be a slow and probably slightly painful process, but we shall get there. Okay, so darker at the top here, so I'm just adding a little bit more in to that top section, and I'm going to make this little, I'm assuming that's some sort of sign. It might be a window, but it strikes me more as one of these, these sort of cheap plastic notice boards you see outside, and it's just like a thin film of plastic that covers up the paper underneath. That's the kind of vibes I'm getting from that, so that's what we're going to do with it. Okay, my poppy red's dry up here, so let's activate this. So I'm going to go back to my small brush, yellow one, and I'm going to start at the bottom because I want that colour intensity to stay at the top. I don't want to drag it down into the other part of the door. And I am actually wiping off the excess colour in between. See how much blue's coming off there, so that I'm not, again, contaminating these sort of more delicate parts. And this is really, it's just for variety. Like, there's nothing making me do this or saying, oh, you have to do this, but it's just, it makes them more interesting. It gives us nice variation in what's going on. See, that door's lovely and dark in that corner now. It does look like a kind of forgotten door, that one, doesn't it? It's maybe been, it's in at the back of a, an old ramshackle building that hasn't been used for a while, or maybe it's in the bottom of a basement somewhere. And that's kind of getting into creepy territory, is it though? The whole basement thing. See, for people in the UK, some of us have cellars. A lot of us don't have cellars. The thing about the basement, basically, for most of us, just defaults to American horror films, because usually bad things happen in the basement. Stephen King books are really bad for that as well. Like, it's always in the basement. But y'all seem to insist that if the light's out in the basement, you go down anyway and you don't wedge the door open. Like, that's the last thing that you do. I don't have a basement, and even I know that I wouldn't do that. So y'all need to sort out your horror film people, because they're very stupid. Right, anyway, now that we've told off the Americans about their basements, let's go back to what we were doing. Oh, it's funny. Look at this colour. It's so pretty. Like, I really like it. I'm just following Colin's hatching here. Because this isn't bone dry, it actually gives us quite a nice effect. It softens the pencil lines a wee bit. but it's still leaving a bit of texture, which I kind of like. Okay, so for the shutters, the slatted part here, I'm just going to turn this way because I find it easier to go up and down with a pencil. I don't know if you all feel the same. Some people might find it easier to go that way, but I find it easier to go up and down. And I'm just going to flick a couple of bits in here and there. Like I'm not actually colouring the slats in. Again, one side maybe a bit more than the other. Another layer of colour, I'm not going to activate this, though I do want it to be vibrant, but again, I kind of like having this texture because this is obviously going to be a textured door. Colin's lines here indicate some of that too, so just wanted to make it a bit brighter, a bit more vibrant. Yeah, okay, I like that. Good. Let's come back up here then. I think I might just leave this one as it is. I might go in a little bit darker with the mustard colour just round the door handle, you know, to make it look as if it's kind of like, you know, it actually belongs there and it's been bolted to the wood rather than looks as if it's all flat and 2D. There we go. Yeah, that makes me a wee bit happier. Let me put a couple of lines in here. Look, why not? Why not? In the middle here, I want a bright colour just to lighten it up a little bit. And the thing that's getting to me is that lime green pencil from the new set of 28. I keep wanting to say 24 for some reason. But I think it's because you can buy a set of 20, or you used to be able to buy a set of 24 Inktense. Yeah, the lime green. Let's make this really offensive in there. And it goes really well with this blue colour as well. There you go, look at that. Don't even need to activate that with water. Just make that nice and bright. Job's a good one. I think I'll do the frame in the metallic. I think that would be a good idea for that. So we've got these two here now as well. I absolutely love this ramshackle latch. This is very characteristic of farms, you know, when things aren't quite brand new anymore and things start to lean slightly, you end up with this kind of idea. Bit of buckled wood here and there. It never posed a problem to a farmer. So let's go oak for this one. I think that would be quite nice in amongst everything. And saying that, we've got a dark... Yeah, let's go oak. Yeah, I'm feeling the oak. Now, if you remember, I did mention this before, the oak pencil is very deceiving because it looks like an olive green, and when you put it down, when it's dry, you think, oh God, what have I done? And it's only when you activate it with water that it actually shows its true colour. And this is one of these ones where there's not very many pencils in the set like that, I have to say. Most of them are true to the colour that you put down, but don't be put off by it, because I know you're like, you know yourself, there's nothing worse than using a pencil and then finding out it's not the colour you thought it was. Usually dipped ends are the culprit, but you can see there, look, that's a pretty nice colour actually. I really like it. This is a really nice base colour for horses. Not that I've ever used Inktense to draw horses, but that might be an idea. I've just given myself an idea. Right, I'm going to let that settle a wee bit and see how it looks. And let's pick a warmer colour for this one up here. I want this to be wooden-y as well. So we could use the Baked Earth. That's quite an orangey red colour, this one here. We'll maybe try that and see how that goes, because this is quite dark up here. Okay, let's have a little go with that. Jock updates. We are into week 5 now. It's crawling by, but we are now out on our WALKs. It's helped so much. So much. And just keeping him quiet in the house the rest of the day. And I honestly didn't think that 5 minutes would be worthwhile with a collie. But he is, I think, just because he's got that stimulation. Because the other thing that we've done as well is we're slowly starting to reintroduce toys. There's no tennis balls, and I was telling Laurie this in an email. There's no tennis balls and no tuggy toys because that's too much activity. But Jock is very partial to a pair of old socks with the toes tied together. If you have socks with holes in, again, if you wear wellies a lot, you go through, you go through the heels in your socks quicker than you normally would. And what we do is we keep those socks for him. So he knows that when they're tied together like that they're fair game, they're for him. And he kind of flicks them about and talks to them and plays with them. So that's something he'll play with himself. So things like that we are reintroducing for him. And we have... We have a couple of toys, and they're rubber snakes, and they're in a sort of slithery shape. You know, they're in like an S shape, and they get called snakies, like SCH, snakies. And the snakies have got squeaky heads, but the rest of them aren't. But they've kind of got a U shape in them, like this, and it's so you can stuff treats down them. So we've allowed the snakies back into circulation as well, because again, those are toys that both dogs play with on their own, and that's not going to be putting too much stress on Jock's joints because he's mostly going to be sitting down. So I think that's helping with the boredom factor as well. So that's really good. But yeah, we're doing well. Jock's doing amazingly, and he seems to be quite happy. So all is good. It's just very slow, and I have to do everything separately. One of the things that we are starting now is Pip is a terrible passenger. She does not travel well. She will not even sit on a quad bike, and she gets motion sickness. So one of my concerns obviously is the move. It's well over 2 hours from here to our new place, to the new cave, and I have to get her from A to B in one piece without her vomiting everywhere and passing out. So what we did last time, which was quite successful, but it wasn't as long a journey. I mean, from the original cave to here is like an hour's drive. So we were talking about double that and some. What worked for us last time was starting her on stress and anxiety supplements. So it's not a drug, it's not a sedative. It's a mixture. It's like a herbal remedy thing, but it's recommended by the vets, and that worked really well for her last time. It didn't stop her uncomfortable, but it stopped her being sick, and she wasn't crying when we were actually driving, which was great. That was really good. Right, okay, so pause, hold that thought for a moment. Wondering whether I should do more to these. I think I might add in a little bit more with the oak pencil once this dries, but I think I want to leave this one as is because it's quite dark. Like, there's a lot going on there anyway, so maybe we should just leave that one be. One thinks. I feel like this is a concrete step here, so let's grab let's grab a grey. Neutral grey. Well, there you go then. How's that? So the tablets were a really big help last time. I mean, Pip, she will jump into a car, she will jump into a truck. It's the minute it starts moving, she doesn't want to be in there. So what we are going to begin with, she's been on these tablets for a week now. And again, the vet said to us, you need to give them time for them to build up in their system before they start sort of working properly. She's been on these tablets for a week now. So what we do with her now is we do very short runs in the truck with her, so literally like 5 minutes. Let her out, give her a tennis ball to play with, run around for 5 minutes, tell her she's the goodest girl, and then chuck her back in and drive home. And over the next 7 weeks, we will build up the duration of those runs. At the weekend, we'll maybe go somewhere in the latter stages and take her probably up to about an hour. That should hopefully help her to be a little bit calmer. The other thing as well is on the actual day of the journey, she will have Jock in beside her, which settles her more. We can't take Jock with us just now because he's not fit to be rumbling about in the back of the pickup. So unfortunately, Pip is going to have to go through this process herself. But the combination of doing that with her, really getting her used to being in a moving vehicle again, and because we don't go anywhere with her, because we're at home all the time, the only place she ever goes is the vets, and she hates it. So that's one of the things we want to change permanently. We want her to be okay in the truck, but by the same token, we're not going to put her through it if it's going to make her feel absolutely awful. But moving is a necessity, obviously. So we may address that in more detail once we've moved, in terms of actually, her being able to be in the truck and go places like the beach, because Pip's never been to a beach, we'd like to take her to a beach. Jock, on the other hand, he loves being in the truck, he chills out and he's like your buddy. I really want a lilac door. It's not this one though. I think the lilac door might be this one, so I'm going to pick a nice colour. We've got deep violet, but when it is applied lightly, it is more of a lilac colour. So that's Pip. Pip's the next thing. Jock's fine, we sort Pip out now. Just snapped it trying to... There didn't seem to be much pigment coming off it, so I pressed a little bit harder and it's just snapped the core. That's really unusual. Yes, so you can see we're, as per usual here at the cave, we're still all go. We don't... The thing is, we don't try and We don't try and make things complicated. We are like as efficient as possible. It's just the fact that there's so damn much stuff all the time. Obviously the situation with Jock wasn't planned. That was absolutely not within the plan, but it was one of those things that needed done. So, right, let me try this pencil again, because that was weird. Yeah, this is a really scratchy pencil. It's not giving off the colour that it's supposed to, I don't think. That's weird. How have I never noticed? Oh no, there we go. Let's try. And yeah, it's not going down on this paper very well. There's something going on with this core. It feels really scratchy, you know, like a really cheap, you know, like pound shop coloured pencils or dollar store coloured pencils for kids. I mean, it's still laying down a little bit of pigment. It's definitely giving me the lilac feel that I want. I think I might have to replace this pencil. Might have to get another one. Yeah, look, it's leaving like really weird marks and it's really dry. I think that's just been a wrong one. You know, like a mismanufacturing. Is that even a phrase? Is now. But okay, yeah, it'll do for what we need to do here on the... Do you know what? I'm going to write a little note to myself. Just to... one of my many post-it notes. And that is the deep violet. Because I will forget about that's exactly, in all the chaos, that's exactly the kind of thing I will not remember. And buy myself a new one of these. I was actually thinking, obviously it's going to be after the move. Everything now is going to be defined by pre or post move. After the move, I was actually thinking about investigating the possibility of stocking Derwent pencils in the stash shop. It should be fairly feasible on account of they are produced, you know, they're manufactured in the UK. They're made in the north of England. So I should be able to get them wholesale, but I don't know about quantities, and this is the thing that prevents me from doing quite a lot of stuff with the stash shop, is a lot of the large wholesalers have minimum order quantity requirements, and that figure is in like the thousands. Naturally, I am not going to sell 1,000 deep violet Inktense pencils. That's not going to happen. So that's kind of the barrier for someone like me with a small business. So I think I might investigate that. If it would be of interest, you know, if I did stock not just the Inktense pencils, some of the other Derwent ranges as well. If that's something that you would take advantage of, whether you're in the UK or whether you're elsewhere, more specifically like Canada, the postage from the UK to Canada isn't too bad. Ask Laurie. Laurie buys stuff from the stash shop all the time. The postage isn't too bad to there in the States. Europe, unfortunately, yeah, you're probably better getting them somewhere else, but I'd still wager that it would be cheaper than some of the other places that you can buy these pencils. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you on that, because obviously if there is a considerable amount of interest, it is something that I will definitely look into. But yeah, I figured that would be a good thing to do, because I'm looking to expand the stash shop and stock more stuff. So any thoughts on that, please let me know in the comments. There we go, a very delicate violet door. It's a bit too delicate. I think I might have to intervene with another pencil. The mauve is too pink. I might go with that, amethyst maybe, from the newer pencils. Found it. I really need to put these pencils in order. Okay, so I'm going in while this is still damp so that it will kind of semi-dissolve the colour. Because I kind of want it to blend in with what's already there, because the amethyst is a bit pinkier. It's not terribly so though. It still looks really pale on camera. Kind of maybe press a little bit harder around the doorknob and the little keyhole there. It does look really washed out. This is a lot lilacater. I think the white balance on the camera might be struggling with this a wee bit. It's like, but I want to make you white. And then in these panels here, just where the hatching is, I've used this technique a couple of times now. Just following Colin's lines. That's the other thing that I forgot to do. See, I'm going to write this on my post-it note now as well. I was going to email the publishers, or possibly Colin Thompson, and find out if this book is actually still in print. That looks a bit better. It looks a bit less washed out. Yeah, this door up here, not sure what I want to do with it. Oh, a turquoise, or even like pink. Pink flamingo. Pink flamingo. Oh yeah. Look at that. Now I'm going to go with lots of colour here. Lots of colour. Oh, make this a very bright door. Again, a plank at a time here. Now, what's interesting is because of the shading that's been used here, this is really similar in colour to what we've done intentionally here. It is slightly pinkier, but not much. And that's not anything to do with the Inktense pencils. That's the shading that's on the paper, so that's quite interesting as well. We've got Wallace here. I feel like he should have a woody background. Like a woody background, you know, like a natural wood colour. Again, just the same as I did over here, just following Colin's lines a wee bit around some of these areas, shaded areas, and around my wonky latch that I really like. I really do, it tickles me. Okay, yeah, good with that. Right, I think I'll stick with the same pencil here. So apart from packing, planning some moving, thinking about the new cave and the new house, looking after Jock, doing my normal job. Apart from that, the other thing that I'm quite excited about just now is I have started playing the new Zelda game, the long-awaited sequel to Breath of the Wild, which was supposed to be released in 2019. So this game has literally been 4 years overdue, and that dropped the other day, and I am loving it. I really liked Breath of the Wild, which was it was the original Zelda game that came out on the Nintendo Switch. And yeah, the new one is living up to the hype. So super enjoying not having much time to play that. I tend to play really early on the weekend mornings when Mr. Jem's having a lie-in. I'm up at the crack of jack anyway, so I can get a couple of hours quiet time on the sofa myself or with the dogs. So yeah, just started playing that. And really, really enjoying it. I haven't got very far, so can't comment too much on it. But if you are a Nintendo Switch owner, I highly recommend it, even if you've never played Zelda before, because it's really good. What colour do we make this door? I feel like it should be a beigey colour. How very exciting, beige. You know, like a really old-fashioned, not Formica, but yeah, like plastic door. Oh, maybe we should make it mink, but make it light mink. Haven't utilised my mink pencil yet today. Wallace, do you want a mink door? Because you're getting one. So with that in mind and thinking about the texture and the material that this door's made of, I'm going to try and get a fairly even layer of pencil with it being a plastic surface. So use a scumbling motion there. Keep a light pressure. Just work my way over. Might actually make that a little bit darker. Right, let's see what colour this comes out. Okay. I'd say that's suitably innocuous for what I was looking for. Okay, now this door. I have a plan for this door. I have a plan for this door. I want a gradient door. And I want a dark blue to turquoise gradient. So I'm going to use Malibu, which was a colour that I really liked. And I am going to use probably the denim colour, because it's nice and deep. So each panel is going to be a gradient, and then the frame is going to be a gradient as well. So I'm going to start with the Malibu down here. And I'm going to press quite hard, like I want this to be quite rich. And I'm going to bring that up to about there. So really, really deep colour in at the bottom part there. So I'm going to smush these together with the water. I don't really want much of an overlap with the actual pencils. It's the water brush that's going to do the work. That looks great already. Oh, I'm excited. Right, okay, so let's do one and see how it goes. So start with your lightest colour always, because if you start with the dark colour, you'll end up pulling it into your lighter colour and obliterating the lighter colour completely. Oh, we need to work quickly though. So strokes up the way. There you go. Oh, I went over the lines. Dagnammit. That's ruined my fun there. But yeah, that's going to work for me. That's it. It's almost the Colour Cave logo colours, isn't it? So let's do these ones then. Oh, this is so good. So good. And a little bit of blue here. And these ones down here. Yeah, I have not had much time for gaming, and I've kind of got stuff piling up now, and I'm feeling a little bit guilty about it because I started playing the remake of Saints Row. Now, I hadn't played Saints Row since the first couple had come out on the Xbox many moons ago. And they've done like a remake, and I found out about that thanks to our lovely Thea. She enabled me on that one. So I started playing that, got really into it, and then got really busy, hadn't played it for ages. And then Last of Us came out on PC, which Mr. Jem bought me for my birthday, so that's sitting there. I haven't even touched that. My birthday was in March. And then Zelda came out last week, so I've kind of got a pile up of games. But I think I'm going to take one day when I'm not having to do loads of work or cave stuff, and I'm going to sit and I'm going to finish Saints Row. I might even rope Thea in to help me finish the main story. I hope you're listening, Thea. See if we can get that finished. I'm going to have to leave that to dry before I do the framework, and I'm really glad I picked gradient. That's fun. I might do a reverse gradient though. For the frame, just to make it a bit more interesting. I might not, who knows. Over here. Oh, I've got another big metal door with a padlock. Oh, what am I going to do with that? I feel like that's another grotty green door. We should make it like a triple. Because we've got this one. And we've got this one. Maybe this one too. Running out of grotty green colours though. I could make it Ionian green. Or did we use leaf green for that? Again, definitely more of like a brownish green. That's got a meaty big padlock on it as well. That'll be fun with the metallic paints in the last video. Okay, so let's get that down. I'm going to use a bigger brush again just because we've got a larger surface area here. Yeah, this is not the same blue brush from before. If you see them side by side, they're actually different colours. This one's actually purple, but when you see it on its own, you think it's the blue one. And the blue one is the square tipped one, like the flat brush. This is a large round, the purple one. You can see there we're getting lovely colour smushed about, lots of water. Fabuloso. I might even give that 2 layers of Inktense, we'll see. See. I was actually looking for my Willow pencil for something else. It seems to be missing, which I'm not surprised about stuff like this, because these Inktense pencils, I swear they've got a mind of their own. I am very organised and very tidy with my pencils, but the Inktense pencils seem to want to defy me at every turn. Here it's here, finally, Willow. So I want to put some of that on this door. These look like big chunky planks. It's like someone's gone out and thought, wow, that would make a really good door, not the other way around. You know, they've not gone out and thought, I need to find wood to make a door. It was the wood was here first, and then that's what it was decided it was used for because it's so chunky. Because that looks like a substantial door. Keep the bears out, you see. Bears. We don't have any bears in the UK. I had this conversation with Julia Kay of Julia Kay Art Studios. She's Swedish. And, you know, there's quite a lot of similarities between Sweden and Scotland. And if you think about it, at one point we were probably joined together when the world was a lot younger. And, we compare things like that all the time. But it's really interesting because there is extensive and varied wildlife and predators in Sweden that we just don't have in the UK. Julia's like, have you not got any bears? And I'm like, no, we don't have any bears. She's like, oh, what about wolves? And I'm like, no. I'm like, no. She's like, what about wild boar? And I'm like, well, yeah, but not really. Like, no, it's not a thing. You don't just drive about and see them. Like, they're very, very tiny. And she's like, wildebeests. I'm like, no, we don't have wildebeests. I don't have any big cats either. Although there's been 1 or 2 rumoured sightings, we don't actually have a population of lynxes or jaguars or anything like that. So, yeah. So she was bitterly disappointed because she was hoping for something exciting. But no, nothing like that. Foxes, that's about as bad as it gets for predators, and that's really only if you've got sheep that becomes a problem. We have more problems with deer and rabbits munching everything and destroying all our crops than anything else. Right, okay, and again, if that's because they don't have any predators. Let's go with these back to our blue pencils here, and we shall do our gradient. So yeah, I think I'll have the turquoisey part at the top. This colour Malibu is lovely. It's a really nice pencil. And we'll say halfway is probably just above the door handle, maybe? Not that it matters at all, because it's just going to look good whatever I do with it. It actually doesn't matter. This denim blue is actually a really nice shade of blue also. I kind of like it. Oh, look at this. This is going to be fabulous. Try and avoid that door handle, Gem. Come on now. My hand's pretty stiff today, I have to say. It's not been too bad this last little while, but it's right in at my knuckle joints is painful today. Right. Okay, so let's start up here. Oh, door handle. Okay, sorry, door handle. We'll deal with you when it comes to actually painting. We'll just have to... Oh my goodness. That's the worst accuracy I've ever had. Look, I'm way over the lines there. It's supposed to be a consummate professional, for goodness sake. Look at that door. That looks like an amazing door. I wonder where that door goes. I'd love to know what you think is behind that door. Okay, I think we're going to do this one and then we'll call it a day at that. We've got through I've got through a fair chunk of doors, and next time we'll make a bumper video and we will finish off the rest of this part here. Wowee. There is a very specific colour I want to use for this door, and it is aubergine, which for those of you in the US, etc., is an eggplant. It's an aubergine. Some people say aubergine, which kind of bugs me, honestly. Aubergine. But you would say auburn, so it stands to reason that it may be the pronunciation may be correct, but I say it's aubergine. It doesn't look very aubergine-y right now, but just bear with me. Again, the Graphy Tint pencils, you can see they do look similar to the Inktense pencils in that they've got the same Derwent type markings, you know, the way the dipped end is and the way that the writing's laid out, but these ones are silver, and these are graphite mixed with pigment. I have mentioned them before. The colour range is quite limited, and they're basically a more muted version of the Inktense pencils, and they're very, very good for landscape paintings and base layers for animal fur, just because of the colour choices that we have. But you can see there it looks really dull as pencil, but when you activate it with water you get a really nice bit of colour, and that's just set that off beautifully. I'm actually really happy with that. I kind of want to do this. Right, well, come on, we'll do this one too. Getting excited myself. The question is, if I were a set of saloon doors, what colour would I be? I don't think they would be a bright colour. When I think of a saloon, I think oldie worldy type. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on the shutters on this one. You know, on the I keep saying shutters, on the slats. I know what I meant, okay. So let's do the outside first. So this is red without actually being red. I'm being really careful with this time. Just because I want a more precise feel to this. See, I can make a good job and stay inside the lines when I feel like it. Can't take me anywhere, guys. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, we'll just let that dry. Now see here, I'm sitting thinking, well, if we've got to wait for this to dry, we might as well do this door. Oh, I just can't with this. Oh, goodness me. But I totally can't help myself, but I just don't want to. That's the truth of it. So let's grab Saddle Brown for this one. A Saddle Brown is one of my go-to pencils in the Inktense set. It's just a really nice middle ground between a dark brown and a lighter sort of tan colour. And if you layer it up, you can get quite a deep brown colour, but if you just use one layer, it veers more towards that tan. So again, a very versatile pencil, and I'm all up for versatile pencils. I like that. There we go, look at that. Superb! And see now I'm like, that's like a little shelf there. We could just do the shelf and the Saddle Brown as well. I have issues, guys. Like, it's perfectly obvious I have issues. Do you know what it is? I'm actually just procrastinating. I've got other stuff to do today. I am filming this on Sunday so you will have, you guys are just seeing the We're Moving video. And I have loads of stuff that I really need to do today. And to be perfectly truthful, I just don't want to do it. I would much rather sit here with you guys and colour indoors. God, come on, obviously. You see the difference though? Look how light that is. It's nice, it's good. Right, I think we're ready for our slats here. Yeah. Again, so I'm just going to turn the book. Sorry, I'm not sorry at all, but I kind of am. So I'm just going to do every alternate. Well, actually do 1 and 3. You know. There's a really odd noise coming from the kitchen, and I was trying to figure out what it was there, and I realised that Mr. Jem's put the dishwasher on. That's why I couldn't figure out what it was, because Mr. Jem never puts the dishwasher on. Like, what is this strange noise? Yeah, so if I do that, you can see there, and just drag that colour down, clean the end of my wee water brush in between, and that just gives that a little bit of character, and just a little bit of variation, which makes it a wee bit more interesting. I think it gives it that more kind of like saloon weather-beaten feel to it. You know, maybe there's a certain part of the day wherever the sun is, and it just hits the boards in a certain way and it's faded them over time. Or maybe that's where the cowboys kick them open. I've got like a weird, I wouldn't say it's a weird fixation. I had a fascination with writing short stories that were set in the Wild West. And there's a lot of short fiction that I used to write, and that was the backdrop for it, that was the setting. I have no idea why that's a thing for me. I also really, like, totally loved, like 100% in love with the Red Dead Redemption computer games as well, which set in the late 1800s, early 1900s. I'm totally into stuff like that, prohibition and everything. So I don't know why that's a thing, but I did manage to get some stuff published in that sort of Wild West. Well, it was actually weird Western setting, so it had like a kind of like supernatural feel to it. So yeah, the saloon doors are fitting right in with this theme. Right, okay, guys, that's it. I'm definitely going to stop here. It's time to stop. So there we go. We've chuntered on a fair bit today. So that leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16 panels to do for next time. There's actually a door in here as well, which is nice. So that is, the next video will be the final video. It might be a little bit longer because not only do we have these doors through, but we've got all the padlocks and things, and we've got this little devil tail to deal with as well. That will all be in the next video, so it might be a little bit extended, which I'll just finish this off nicely. I am thoroughly enjoying myself here. This is the first time I've filmed a video series and not planned out any sort of colours, and it's actually really, really fun. I don't know if it's something I'd do with more cohesive pictures, you know, if things that are a scene, I don't think that would suit me, but the just going on a whim has been so refreshing doing this, and I kind of wish that this was a bit longer, but we have other things to get on with. So that is it for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed just coming and hanging out and having a little chit chat and colouring along, or colouring your own stuff, or drawing whatever it is you're doing. I noticed that some of you said you're quite happy to have my company even though you don't colour necessarily yourself, so thank you, I really appreciate that. I'll see you back in the cave on Sunday for another video, so have a great day everyone, and bye bye for now.